Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you did not tune in this week to see, happy-go-lucky, your buddy, your pal, SpazPhoenix. But what I am here to do is say a word or two right to the WWE, right to Vince, right to Triple H, right to Stephanie, whoever's running the fucking show. This is your reality check. I went too far the other way. See, this time last year, guys, I know I was way too far off the deep end. I know Cena pissed me off way too much. I was letting the fact that Cena sucks ruin my experience as a wrestling fan, and I went way too far. Pissed a lot of people off and took the fun out of it for myself. What happened? WrestleMania came along, and I got my scalp, and I said, no, I'm not going to let John Cena, and I'm not going to let the stupid shit ruin wrestling. And I became one of those guys that I talked about last year. I became one of those apologists. I became one of those guys, always look on the bright side of life. No. I became one of those guys that pushed away the bad, looked for the good, looked for the silver line. I became one of those guys. And you know what? This time last year, I would have punched one of those guys in the face. And what did I do? I pushed and pushed and pushed. And every little scrap that they threw to some guy that actually deserved it, actually had a scrap of talent, actually earned his spot, I took that and I said, look, wrestling's not doing too bad. I was out there, I was, doing the company line, I was carrying the banner, I was doing every fucking thing you can think of. And I went too far, and I realized it tonight. You know why? Because WWE, instead of embracing me, instead of looking me in the face and saying, you've been a great fan, you represent a lot of great fans, we're going to give you a great fucking product because we know you deserve it. No, instead, they puked in my face. Oh, yes, they did. This Raw was a 3-hour extension of the Saturday Slam. And trust me, I was gonna do a review of that, but I decided not to. But Jesus Christ, Raw, WWE, Raw, World Wrestling Entertainment, you all need to get on your knees, not to thank me. You all need to get on your knees. You need to hop over to Dalyxman's channel and kiss his ass, because I wasn't even going to review this show. I made that decision about 45 minutes into a 3-hour show. Oh my god, trust me, the clipboard is here. I have the notes, like I always do, because like any car crash, this needed to be documented. Oh, yes it did. Here, I'm going to go through. I'm going to pretend that I am not itching with my finger on the trigger right now, and I am going to try to get through this Raw and try to describe the mutilated body, the mutilated corpse of what used to be the great wrestling program that I used to love. Yes, I am. I can't promise that I'm going to make it through. There is way too much. There is way too much decay, and the Beatles are having a hell of a feast. But we're going to try to get through this. And yes, I'm agitated. This is built up. This is all the shit that I've been pushing aside to try and enjoy the product. To be happy for Preston that Ray is back. To be happy for Alex that Daniel Bryan was in the title picture that he deserved to be in. To be hopeful for John and his guys coming back. To, be happy that at least Kara's Jericho got a great farewell, etc. And my guy is taking up the torch in his wake. All that positivity that I was trying to shove down my own throat, I am regurgitating it right now, trying to find some little scrap of something that I can say was good in this show. There was a couple of good promos, and a guy on a microphone as good as CM Punk and some of the other guys are. Oh yeah, does not save a wrestling program. No, it doesn't. I don't care how many pennies you swallow, and I don't care how shiny it makes your shit. Your shit still stinks. Let's try to get through this. We started Raw with Lawler. Let's let that sink in for a second. the amount of rising talent we have in this company right now that does or doesn't get recognized depending on the day. We started with a, no offense to him, well over the hill ex-wrestler / commentator demanding respect from the WWE champion. That makes your champion look great, doesn't it? When a commentator who is, you know, about here on the totem pole can step up with bass in his voice to your champion. Your champion, WWE. I mean, of course, Punk came in, did his thing, took apart Jerry Lawler like nobody else could. But, oh my God, he tossed a challenge to Jerry Lawler, and how did they end the segment? Oh, well, I'll think about it. Go fuck yourself. I am so glad that later on in the night we got Michael Cole and Josh Matthews, because right now Michael Cole is the babyface on that table. God damn it. We had Ryback versus Swagger, and honestly, I didn't even watch this. I'm glad that Ryback's getting bigger opponents, yada yada yada, but Swagger's fucking useless. Moving on. Natalya versus Layla. Now this could have been cool. Get somebody like Natalya, you know, a great, you know, descendant of a Hart, the dynasty that is the Hart family, into the Divas title picture, but no. No. We had Vicky Guerrero come out to supervise the match from the turnbuckles, from the stageway, from the steel steps, wherever I don't know where they found steel steps to hold her ass up, and her ego and everything on the fucking hairdo that she's got on her. No Ziggler, just her. She's got a big announcement to make, and she's gonna make it after the match. Then why couldn't you fucking wait until after the match? Oh yes, Natalya had a match with the women's champion. Awesome, wonderful stuff. Until, you know, one of Layla's biggest moves was an ass to the face. Now, I'm a fan of Layla. Don't. Fuck. Natalya failed at the sharpshooter. Natalya uses the apron on the outside. You know, made sense. Good, logical, you know, bait and switch type stuff. It was good. But, you know, didn't even get a finisher. Got a simple kick to the head and a roll-up, and Layla gets the win. The Butterfly Championship, the Tramp Stamp Championship, continues to mean fuck and all. Alright, let's go on to page 2. See how much fun we can have there. Vicky ejects the Divas, because apparently she has authority now. Right. Talks about last week, talks about Ziggler's case being on the line, being this big crime, while Jericho's career being on the line wasn't. Because even for a heel, I expect more out of Vicky Guerrero than that. I have respect for Vicky Guerrero. She is a great fucking heel. I expect more from her than that. Oh, I'm the only one in the locker room that's got the guts to stand up to AJ and the board of directors, da-da-da-da. She's a mentally diseased child, because, you know, that's, you know, be a star-ish, but whatever. AJ comes out, and there's yes chance, because, you know, she's Daniel Bryan, clearly. She brawls with Vicky Guerrero. Now, I love AJ as the GM, but if she's going to get back into a match with somebody, let's put her in a match with another diva. Let's have her take out Kelly, because she's got no use being in the company anyway. But no, they have her beating up a manager instead. That's great. And then, because this was the Let's Crawl Up Triple H's ass episode of Raw, we had the first of very, 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 very many Triple H tribute videos. This one was about DX. It was fine. It was wonderful. Whatever. I'm a big fan of DX, but I didn't want to have Triple H shoved down my throat tonight. Did I? No. Do I think he's retiring? No. Do I care if he retires? No, because I know it's kayfabe, because I know behind the scenes he runs the fucking company. You morons. Anger management. I missed it because, you know, the Score, which plays Raw here in Canada, was out, and I was trying to catch up on YouTube, and by the time that I caught that my TV was back on, YouTube was off, and what I missed in the middle was the first anger management segment. Whatever. Judging by the next two, I didn't miss much. Lawler gets teased on Twitter by CM Punk, and that's what makes him accept the match. Not being face-to-face with the WWE Champion saying, hey, this is something you've never had, and I'm going to run down your whole career. No, a couple of lines, 160 characters on Twitter is what makes a commentator stand up and say, yeah, I'm freely willing to get my ass kicked. Oh, fucking yes. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, my head hurts. And this is where every single person out there that has anything negative to say about me is going to say that this next entire segment is because I don't like Cena and because I'm a fan of The Miz. Absolutely not. Because CM Punk is facing Cena at the next pay-per-view. CM Punk is fighting a commentator tonight, so what's a brilliant idea? What's the most fantastic idea? Who are you trying to build that just came back? What title are you trying to bring back to prominence with the help of guys like Cody Rhodes? The Intercontinental Championship? The Miz? Are those the kind of answers you... Let's throw them under the fucking Cena steamroller. Oh, yes, Miz carries Cena to a very, very, very watchable match. 5 moves of doom, attitude adjustment, and anybody that thinks real wrestling still exists can go fuck themselves. Superman wins, moving on. Raw Active. We have our Raw Active segment of the night, and it is, do we want Punk and King in a tables match, a cage match, or a no DQ match? I don't know why this got escalated from, you know, whatever, from a regular match to being one of these. It's like, clearly, CM Punk needs extra incentive and extra toys to play with to beat up an old man. So, fans, which toys would you like to see CM Punk beat up an old man with? Oh, yes. Then we get more Triple H shoved down our throats, and now we all know how Sheamus feels when he's looking for a payday. Right. Anger management. We go back to it again. We see some random goofball talking about his stressful day at work, and then Daniel Bryan bitches about AJ for a while. My cup of give a shit, if I can borrow a phrase from John, is so empty. The abacus to count the fucks that I do not give would not fit in this room. Oh, yes. Oh, and then we had Slater versus Santino. We had goofballing, and boring chants, and dancing, and the Cobra gets distracted by Oksana, because that's a brilliant story. The puppet that, you know, Santino has full control over got distracted by somebody way at the fucking top of the ramp, and even though it was distracted, it still got the win on Heath Slater, because, you know, Heath Slater doesn't get buried enough as it is, and Santino clearly needs to build, doesn't he? Oh, yes. Oh, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. Brodus Clay and Sin Cara versus Sandow and Rhodes. One guy I have any respect for in this match, and that's Cody Rhodes. He gets saddled with Damian Sandow, so there's the first nail in his coffin, and he's going up against Brodus Clay and Sin Cara. Now, I'm a fan of Sin Cara. I'm a fan of the Sin Cara versus Cody Rhodes feud, which most people aren't, because the two of them, by themselves, work together great. It's a great low-card feud. It's a great way to get Cody Rhodes back on Raw. Throw in Brodus Clay, and what you have is Brodus Clay squashing the guy that saved the Intercontinental Championship. There's gratitude from the WWE. Hashtag go fuck yourself. Moving on. More anger management. And this is the only segment in the anger management thing that I thought was good at all. They had Kane come in the same anger management class as Daniel Bryan, because, you know, clearly in real life that wouldn't have ended up in some kind of brawl. But instead, Kane does this great, you know, 2 or 3 minute monologue about every horrible thing he's ever done to anybody. I was burned, my brother burned me alive, and it killed my parents, and I buried my father alive, and I buried my brother alive twice, and I've electrocuted men's testicles and set people on fire, and I have an unhealthy obsession with beating up Pete Rose. It was delivered, it was great, it was good comical value, and Kane, surprisingly, has great comical timing, which is fine. That's one of the best things that happened tonight. And it wasn't even in the arena. God fucking damn it. I'm so glad I got a haircut today, or I'd be pulling it out. Moving on. Let's go on to the next page, because it can't get any worse. Can it really? Oh, yes, it can. More. There we go. I don't care. There's paper all over the floor. Now, look at that shit. After another round of Triple H promos, we have Daniel Bryan coming back to the arena to see if his anger management courses are working. And who does he take on? You got one guy that's going crazy already. Who does he go after? R-Truth. And let me tell you, I would love to tell you about this match, but this more entertaining shit happened with Kofi Kingston on commentary in this match than what happened in the actual match. Kofi Kingston is trying to have an intelligent conversation with Michael Cole about Little Jimmy. The crowd is chanting goat face. R-Truth asks Daniel Bryan to fist bump Little Jimmy, and he actually does. I don't know whose wife Daniel Bryan fucked in the back to get this storyline, but holy shit. Truth has the better of Bryan through most of this match, which is also ridiculous, and he has such the better of Bryan that he stops in the middle of the match, grabs a microphone, and has a conversation with Little Jimmy about what city they're in. Really, we're gonna get 2 shovels to bury Daniel Bryan. And Alex, holy shit, I don't know how you're not pulling your hair out, buddy. Bryan loses it, or sorry, I totally lost my place because this is bullshit and I don't have a shovel. Talks to little Jimmy during the match, starts a yes chant for no reason. Why would you pull a heelish move like pissing off your opponent that much? Then runs back in the ring. Bryan loses it, starts yelling at the crowd, and starts yelling at the crowd so much he gets counted out. So R-Truth has a victory over Daniel Bryan. Let that sink in for a second. Oh, yes. Triple H comes out. This is the big moment, right? Triple H comes out in the cast, gets a standing ovation. You know, in WWE, you can never say never. When I came to the WWE, I had 2 goals. First of all, I wanted to get in the ring. Second of all, I wanted to get out of the ring on my own terms. Talks about crossroads, this and that, da-da-da-da-da. Brock Lesnar's made me question myself, and this and that. I want to be the game, but I don't know if I can. You know, starts a thank you, talks about all the sacrifices that stars make in WWE, and you all cared about me, and out come the tears, and da-da-da. It's a fucking work. It's a fucking work. And he's trying to, you know, channel his inner Edge, which is the most disrespectful thing in the world. Most of his promo, most of this worked promo sounded so much like Edge's legitimate goodbye speech, it made me want to vomit. Vomit. The only reason I didn't vomit is because I don't want to clean my own fucking room. Fuck Triple H. I'm a big fan, but fuck Triple H. Ziggler and Alberto Del Rio versus Orton and Sheamus. And I said this to Alex while I was watching the replay. 3 guys I have a shit ton of respect for, and Sheamus. How much can WWE fuck this one up? Oh yes, Ziggler and Orton in the ring together? Gold. Orton and Alberto Del Rio together in the ring. Gold. You got great ring psychology. We're working over Orton's arm. We're getting ready for the cross arm breaker and whatever. But then Super Sheamus, Superman's over everybody. No sells the straight kick to the head that he gets from Alberto Del Rio. Takes out Ziggler with absolutely no problem. Buries his #1 contender. Buries the Money in the Bank winner. And gets a win because, as Alex would say, it's in the fucking book. Moving on. Lawler and Cena backstage because they are the faces, and Cena is Superman, and Cena's there to help everybody because he's everybody's big brother, giving a big pep talk to Lawler, etc. And I thought we were going to have the main event there, but no, we needed to stick in more shit. The outhouse wasn't quite full yet. We needed to stick in more shit, didn't we? Oh yes, with Kane on commentary, we had Ryder versus Otunga. Hands up everybody that gave a fuck about this match, and please note that mine is down. The match was shit. Ryder wins, of course. Kane chokeslam, goes to chokeslam Ryder and chokeslams Otunga instead. So I guess this is the big revelation that he made in anger management courses where, you know, you can't chokeslam Zack Ryder because that's a bad move and that means you're an angry guy. But if you chokeslam a heel, it makes you a hero. So you're a good guy. You were a good Kane this week and you get a cookie next week at therapy. Fucking hell. Josh Matthews leaves like a scared little bitch while Kane's on commentary. Kane says fuck all on commentary. And Michael Cole, who's been doing great this whole night despite the pile of shit that this show is, makes himself sound like a right and proper moron trying to get Kane to be a commentator. We have the announcement that Orton's going to face Ziggler on SmackDown this Friday. Hopefully that won't be a fuck-up. We have the announcement that the Raw active fans have chosen a cage for Lawler and Punk to fight in. That's fine. It's whatever. AJ announces that Punk and Cena will, in fact, fight at the Night of Champions. Duh. Says right there. Says right there. I wrote it. Right there. Duh. Moving on. Then we have the cage match. Punk gives King the first shot and proceeds to own him like a motherfucker. King gets in 2 or 3 shots. Punk eats a little bit of steel cage and the top rope fist and submits very quickly to the Anaconda Vice. This is where it gets kind of cool, or this is where you would think it would get kind of cool, because you look at Punk and you look at his arm and you look at all up his arm and you look at his mouth, etc., and he's been busted open somewhere. They never zoomed in on it because, you know, blood doesn't exist in the WWE. We all run on helium and chicken farts, but it's there, so we know it was there. Punk then goes out, grabs a toolbox, grabs a chain and a lock, locks the door shut, starts beating the fuck out of Lawler some more, trying to get him to say, hey, you're the best in the world, puts this big beat down on him. Now, the logic loop of this is this, and it's actually proven by Cena, which turns my stomach. You chain that door shut, that's fine. What happens if people just come and lift the cage? So that's what Cena, comes down and does. Comes down, talks to all the techs, apparently knows exactly who to talk to for everything, like Cena's ever worked on a ring crew in his fucking life. Raise the cage, and scares off CM Punk like a little bitch. Now, look at what you've done with your two major champions in this show tonight, WWE. What have you done? You have thrown the new Intercontinental Championship and its holder under the Cena bus for no particular reason other than you needed him to do something on this fucking show, and you had the flag bearer, the torch bearer for your company fighting a commentator and then playing the scared heel when Superman came by. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. You know what? Here's the notebook. The other half of how I usually do things when I'm writing these things. I've got the scores and the fails here. I'm gonna read it off to you just because, you know, this is going right off the fucking script. Punk owned Lawler. That was great. We got a bigger opponent for Ryback. That's great. Natalia was on Raw. That's great. AJ taking out Vicky was amusing. The whole monologue that Kane did about his history and da-da-da-da-da, that was cool for what it was. Ziggler's Y2J fight, oh, I forgot to mention that because it wasn't enough to save the show, but when Ziggler came out for their tag team match, he did do a fake out with Jericho's music and all that, and that was cool. But, you know, Ziggler's never going to be the focus as long as some of the Supermen are here. Oh, yes. If we had a few, we had Santino, we had Sheamus, we had Cena, all we needed was Kelly and Rey Mysterio on this show, and nobody that deserves anything would get anything ever. My fucking God. Now, the fails. Starting the show with Lawler. And after that, the fails are Cena, Santino, Clay, Sandow, Truth, Kofi, Little Jimmy, Ryder, Otunga, and Sheamus. Those are your fails for this episode of Raw. Go fuck yourself. Punk got made to look like a bitch. Orton got to win, but only because he was on a team with Sheamus. Miz got thrown under the Cena steamroller. Rhodes got jobbed out to Brodus fucking Clay. And Ziggler got buried by Sheamus. MVP is absolutely fucking nobody. And I'm out. Guys, I hope it's better next week. Bye.
Get up, come on, get down.